Hi everyone, I know what you are thinking. How dare you say it's not determination? Everyone knows it is. However, let me ask you some questions. Where did you even find that information? What proofs led you to believe this? I think for most people it's just what you assume through osmosis with a fandom. So I will first explain what led people to believe that the word soul's trait is indeed determination, and why it simply isn't. In Undertale, we know about 7 souls. Patience, justice, perseverance, kindness, bravery, integrity, and the red one. The first 6 we know are for each human that fed in the underground prior to Frisk. The red soul is unique in the fact it's not unique. Oh, so we think. Frisk and Chris and probably Kara share that color. I mean, maybe it's all the same soul in different bodies, but let's not dive into that yet, because it's not really important for now. In Undertale, there's a minigame is snowed in named the Ball Game, where you gotta push a snowball into a hole, and depending on how you reach it, you are given a soul trait in a certain color. And that's how we know each soul's trait. This is not a joke, this is literally the main source of information on soul traits. And some of you may think the Ball Game is a source for the red soul's trait too. However, that's false. The Ball Game never gives it away. Try as you might, you continue to be yourself. Another thing is that people assume that the determination substance thing is red, which makes them reach a logical conclusion that the red soul is indeed a determination, because determination is red and the red soul is red, so the red soul is associated with determination. However, determination is never confirmed to be any color. Maybe that's because in the No Mercy route where you get lots of XP and love, a lot of the text is red, but funnily enough, determination is always written in white in that route. If you want to go with text colors, I can argue that the red soul's trait is stop sign. So let's not do this. Yeah, not only does the narrator use it, and it's just used to put emphasis on certain things. So, the reason why a lot of text is red in the No Mercy route is probably because culturally, red is a evil color. And I think we can agree that this route is a tiny bit evil and violent. And moreover, about determination's color, you could very well assume it's gold. That's what I do. As per the golden flowers, who are good determination vessels, or the fact that in the True Lab, it's written in gold, only time the world is in color. Or even that the save points are gold and that they fill you with determination. And the funniest thing is, the heal you and your HP bar is gold too. And if you think it's too similar to yellow, let me point you to Asgore in Deltarune. In his shop he got a yellow flower and a golden flower. And with the colors corresponding to soul stuff, well, in the place Toby wants to make a difference between gold and yellow in that context for some reason. A lot of the misconceptions around the red soul seem to come from the fact that we never see the others in action. To be honest, maybe they too can also switch colors, so the idea that the red soul is a sort of neutral determination soul is a bit silly, especially since the soul is not the one changing soul mode. Generally, it is the enemy that changes us, which is another kind of ROM that I will not open in this video. A human being can have multiple of the soul traits and exhibit some of them more depending on the moment, even if they have a main one. Another reason people would believe determination is red is because they assume that Sansa's blood and Asgore's trident are determination based because they're red, because they think determination is red. Which for one is circular reasoning, but also Toriel's eye are brown and Sansa's eye also gets yellow and blue. On top of that, Undyne, the only character who actually has shown determination, doesn't have any color in our fight. Not even the Amalgamate do, while they are literally overflowing with determination. Determination is thus unrelated to color in combat sprites, so Asgore and Sans are irrelevant to that topic. But you could argue that the red soul has more determination than the others because it took away the power of saving from Flowey, while it doesn't seem like the others did. But that's most likely a power that all the previous human souls had, and they just gave up at some point. The reason that Flowey talks about how he lost the power to save, as if he never did before, is because Flowey did not exist before the Amalgamates, which are not that old, while the latest fallen human was long ago according to Toriel, which makes it so there is zero evidence that the red soul is more determined. So, overall, the red soul is of an unknown trait and is as related to determination as any other soul color. And before you say anything, yes, I know the red soul is actually ball game, but let's pretend this not for the sake of theorizing. But what do I think its trait is? Well, I got multiple points which leads me to believe that its soul trait is curiosity. Now hold on, let me explain myself. What I like with this idea is that it fits very well with the themes of Undertale, as can be seen with this quote from Flowey in the No Mercy Route. I used my power for good. I became friends with everyone. I solved all their problems flawlessly. Their companionship was amusing for a while. As time repeated, people proved themselves predictable. It all started because I was curious. Curious what would happen if I killed them. And like this, I told myself. I'm just doing this because I have to know what happens. I think it's reasonable to assume that Flowey is supposed to mirror us in that route, as a sort of critic Toby makes of us. After all, Flowey has the power of saving like we do. Flowey was a player, just like we are. So it's pretty applicable to us, I think. And this corresponds well with how curiosity is a driving force behind the dark roads in both games. We kill all monsters in Undertale because we want to see what happens, we want to see if we can beat up the funny bones guy. We want to see what happens in the weird route. And like curiosity comes up multiple times. Flowey even calls out people like me who watch the No Mercy route instead of doing it themselves. I got a perfectly clean pacifist save file that I have never changed. In Deltarune, we want to go against what Walsey says because we want to see what happens if we tear down the rules of this world. That part is what first made me think of curiosity, but then I had to figure out if the curiosity idea applied to the other routes. And well, it actually does! For instance, an Undertale pacifist route for a first-time player is a weird thing to do, because throwing not tokening monsters is also a sign of curiosity. We're used to this idea, and nowadays doing the pacifist can feel like the standard, the default, but it's really not normally. Especially with how specific it is to Spartorial. I don't think a first-time player is gonna spam the spare button. It's an RPG after all, you kill monsters to get XP. And the dozens of possible neutral routes some people have decided to run, isn't that a clear showcase of curiosity as well? Then we search for fun events, or dug for the entry 17, or any Gaster-related thing like Redacted, even though it was behind Dogcheck. In Deltarune, searching for secret bosses is also being curious. We want to find all the secrets, we dig in the code, we search for hidden eggs in the womb in between, 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 on the brink of existence. We do multiple save files not to miss events like with Onion San. Think about it, as a Wet Soul, the player tries multiple runs, search for secrets, discover lore, unseen scenes, animations, and things we don't even know what they are going to imply yet. We can try to do everything or try to recruit everyone. I have a tiny car by doing the section multiple times, because as a first-time player it's fun to hit the cars. Basically, the Wet Soul likes to experiment and always wants to find something new and won't rest until they've inspected every suspicious looking nook and cranny. I don't really see any holes with the curiosity theory. I think it makes a lot of sense and wraps up well the idea exposed in both games. It feels really compelling to me and fits well right in that slot. But it's not necessarily the correct option. One last thing I want to add is that, well, what the heck is a Wet Soul, right? As we know, the Wet Soul in Deltarune knows things it shouldn't. It knows sense and knows that Undyne and Alphys are supposed to be a couple, which either means that we are in a time loop or we come from Undertale. Or both. I think that second idea is more likely because it goes along with the meta-narrative of Deltarune releasing after Undertale, but the players bring the same. But the implications are odd, because who is the soul in Undertale? There is little hints that could point us towards the Undertale soul not being Frisks, so it probably isn't. And with Kara sometimes, rarely, narrating the game, we could think that the Wet Soul is Kara's, and that it is particularly fitting that Chris wears the same shirt as them. And after all, it would make sense that we control the soul of the character we name ourselves. However, the No Mercy route kind of contradicts that idea, since Kara bargains to get her soul, meaning it's not theirs to begin with. I mean, we could have taken control of it, but why? I think another theory works better for this. Undertale and Deltarune are meta-narratives and parallel the workings of a game, but they probably aren't actually games and we probably aren't actually a player in universe. Maybe we have been sent in Undertale like we have been in Deltarune. Maybe we are a sort of fadget of the man, who is probably Gaster, that he sends into his experiments. The disruptor, the outside element that is bound to cause a reaction in his worlds. What we are the player basically. So the soul is most likely just us, the player. Its sole trait could be curiosity, but it could also just be yours. We've reached the end of our theorizing and debunking journey. If you have any other ideas, don't forget to comment, maybe I haven't missed issue with mine. I have basically no comments as of now, so I'll read them. And if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And on that, goodbye friends.